Hi everyone, this is Justine Phillip and you're watching Scoreboard on Acts 25.
Welcome to Scoreboard on Acts 25, and today we are really outside of the studio. We are in the hollows in the Queen's Park Savannah, where we will be conducting an outside scoreboard this morning. My guest today really is the former Trinidad and Tobago goalkeeper Kelvin Jack. You'll remember Kelvin Jack, although a lot of people were making a lot of noise when Dennis Lawrence scored the goal. A lot of us tend to forget that it was a brilliant save by Kelvin Jack that helped us to qualify for the World Cup in that game against Bahrain. So I wanted to sit back and enjoy the outdoor of Trinidad and Tobago as we do a special interview here with Kelvin Jack, the former Trinidad and Tobago goalkeeper. Before we do that, let me just say it's a big shout out to all my loyal Scoreboard friends, the viewers and the well-wishers. We're glad that you could join us here for this special episode. So we're going to take a short break, and when we return, we're going to be chatting with Kelvin Jack, the former Trinidad and Tobago goalkeeper. So stay tuned, we'll be right back.
Hi, my name is Professor Don Jacob. I'd like to take this opportunity to invite you and all our friends out there to the 2015 Karate World Championship in Trinidad and Tobago. Please check out www.karateworldchampionship.com.
Welcome back to Scoreboard on Acts 25. And as I said earlier, my guest this morning here is Kelvin Jack, the former Trinidad and Tobago goalkeeper. And as I said in the opening, a lot of us paid a lot of tribute to Dennis Lawrence when he scored the goal. But had it not for the brilliant save by Kevin here, I don't think we'd have make it to the World Cup. Kevin, it's a pleasure. You heard what I said just now, right? The brilliant save that you pull off in that game.
Okay.
That assured us the opportunity to go to the World Cup. Let's start with that. Could you recall exactly what went on there?
Well, all I can remember at the end of the game, we were under a bit of pressure, and I can remember their defender just playing a long, hopeful pass, and I think it was it Ian Cox or someone who, I think it skimmed off his head and went out for a corner, and they had a corner. And I remember talking to, just before the corner taking, talking to Sid and Marvin and telling them that, yeah, come on, let's be switched on, come on, let's be switched on, we're almost there. And then we got the first header out when the corner was taken. And the guy did surprise me with his shot as well. He did because there was hardly any backlift behind it. And yeah, fortunately I was able to react and make the save. And I knew then, when I made that save, that they wouldn't have time to really, muster anything again, because I knew the game was over.
Okay, let's go back a little bit. Tell us, who is Kelvin Jack? Kelvin Jack, how it all started for you in football?
Well, it all started, how many years ago now? But yeah, I just started with Trinity United. My first coach was Arthur Jab Brown, who I always credit with, for my career, really, to be honest with you. He was a fantastic man, very, very good coach. He was just a wonderful, wonderful human being, and you know, he more or less took me under his wing, and you know, I guess he saw more potential, you know, as a goalkeeper. And although he wasn't a goalkeeping coach, he would try his best, and you know, he would show me different techniques and so forth. And it's someone I really, really looked up to. You know, my brother Nigel Jack, he you know, he used to play for St. Mary's, and you know, I looked up to him as well. You know, those days Intercal was even bigger than it was now. And
So true.
you know, it's someone I really looked up to, and I was like, geez, he's playing at this level, and you know, he was doing well, and you know, I more or less wanted to follow him, the way how he was progressing in his football career. So so yeah, you know, Arthur Brown, and you know, my brother when he played as well. You know, those are the people who I really looked at and you know, really wanted to emulate.
Okay. Jablote was the only local team that you played for before you went abroad?
Well, I've played for Trinity United. I played for them in the East Zone. I played also for Docks Kilwallace in the Pro League, semi-pro league, I think it was at the time. Played briefly for ECM Motor. Played for a few clubs. You know, but I felt at home at obviously Trinity United, which was my first club, and Jablote. You know, Jablote. You know, it's such a, you know, the whole community is involved, and you know, I just felt at home straight away. You know, all the players were welcoming. You know, people like Jerry Hospitalis. You know, I'll always be thankful, you know, for getting me into the club. Obviously, Terry Fennick was the manager as well. You know, a really, really good local club. You know, and I hope they could, you know, rekindle their past glories, because I know they have been having, you know, financial difficulties and stuff like that. So hopefully, Jablote is a club could, you know, be back in the fray.
Okay. Tell me about when you went abroad. You had stints with Dundee and Gillingham.
Gillingham, yeah.
Gillingham, yeah. Tell me about your experience abroad.
Yeah, the experience was great. You know, I went to Dundee. They came down here and they did a pre-season down here, and Jablote actually played against Dundee in a pre-season game, and we beat them. You know, to be honest, we beat them quite easily. And you know, from then the manager was interested, but you know, I didn't qualify to go to the UK then, because I didn't qualify for a work permit. I just did not attain enough international caps to be able to go out there. So you know, over the past of the next 18 months, 2 years, you know, my focus was just trying to break into the national team. You know, Shaka Islap and Clayton were, you know, the goalkeepers then. So I knew it was going to be difficult, but you know, I kept plugging away, and then finally I got, you know, the required international caps, and I went on a trial to Reading, and you know, the same again. You know, didn't qualify, and then I went to Crystal Palace. And at that time, when I went to Palace a few months later, I was qualified to play. I got an offer from Palace, and you know, the offer. You know, looking back, it's the only regret, in all honesty, I've had in my career, that I think I should have signed with Crystal Palace, and I ended up signing with Reading. And you know, at the end of that season, I was released from Reading, and you know, Dundee came calling, and was like, hey, you know, we like you to come up, and you know, I went up there, and that was that, and you know, signed with Dundee, and you know, it's a good club, it's a nice club. You know, they had financial problems as well. I guess, you know, these financial problems are all over the world.
Yeah, that's something.
So you know, played there for 2 years, and yeah, it was a really, really good experience.
Okay, let's go back to 2006. Actually, you were supposed to be the first #1 goalkeeper for Trinidad and Tobago.
Yeah.
When you got it was a thigh injury or hamstring or something like that?
I had a calf injury.
A calf injury.
Yeah, I had a calf injury.
Right, that prevented you from starting the game with Sweden.
Sweden, yeah.
At that point in time, how did you accept that? Because okay, I think this is the break of your lifetime. I mean, a big game, World Cup. You know, you have been on par, you know, up to the last game.
Yeah.
You know, and here it is your big opportunity, and injury steps in. How did you deal with that?
Well, for the week before that, that is when I got the injury. And at first we thought it was just only, you know, just like cramp or something. And then we realized when we did the scan, we realized it was much more serious. My first fear obviously was that, hey, my World Cup is over. And, you know, I spoke with the manager, Leo Binhacker, and, you know, the doctors, and, you know, I assured them, I was like, listen, I'm going to do everything to try to be fit. I'll be fit. And, you know, I barely was able to be, you know, I trained the day before the Sweden game without any problems. And I declared myself fit. But on the day of the game, when I was warming up, I just felt so much pain in the calf area. And I did get, you know, I spoke to Michael Morris, the goalkeeping coach, when during my warm-up, and I told him, I was like, listen, you know, I could feel this, you know, I could still feel this quite a lot, you know, I think I'm struggling. And he's like, you sure? I was like, yeah, you know, I think I'm struggling big time here. And, you know, he said, well, okay, well, it's your call, it's up to you, it's totally up to you. And, you know, I continued warming up, and then I realized, it's like, you know what, you can't be selfish here. You can't, as much as you'd want to play and you want to make your World Cup debut, and, you know, you want to represent the country in its first ever World Cup, you know, I just felt that if I was going to be selfish, I would have jeopardized the team's chances. And, you know, I walked over, I spoke to Mr. Binhacker, and I told him, and he was, you know, he asked me again, are you sure? I'm like, yeah, I think so. He said, no, Kelvin, are you sure? Can you not play at all? Can you try? And I said, you know, I think I'll jeopardize the team. And he said, well, okay. And, you know, fortunately, Shaka was ready to go. You know, he was ready to go, and he had a great game, and, you know, we were able to get that point that was so important in our history.
Yeah, but after the game, there was a picture of you and Shaka embracing.
Yeah.
I don't know if I mean, it's quite a long time now, but could you remember that? You know, what was the conversation after the game between you and Shaka?
No, I was so happy for him. I was so happy for him. Well, obviously I was happy for the team first and foremost, but I was so happy for him personally because I felt it would have been tough on him, you know, being a number 2 when he was actually, you know, number 1 at his club in England. So, you know, he was patient, and you know, something I was impressed, you know, it really impressed me about him is before the game how professional he was still warming up, although he knew he wasn't playing. And you know, even when I'm doing my warm up, you know, I'm looking at him and saying, that's very professional. You know, he's not playing, but he's still doing things properly. You know, and you know, it's things like that I look at. You know, even subs. You know, how professional are they? How are they warming up? And he did it properly. And if he was not that professional, I don't think he would have had a good game. I think if he you know, just went through the warm-up and, you know...
Because although you're warming up, but you already know that you are not going to start. So your mind, you know, I don't think your mind will be too...
in tune to playing. Yeah, but, you know, I was really, really impressed by that. And it's something I always looked at throughout all the qualifiers. You know, while you are warming up, you're doing your stretches, you're looking to see how other people warming up, and, you know, just to see if they're focused and so forth, because things change just like that in football. You know, in a second everything could just change. So you know, he was ready, and I was just so happy for him because he played well, and because of him we got a point because he played so well. So yeah, I was really, really pleased for him. I was pleased for him.
From 2006, the experience, what still stands out in your mind? That's something that you will cherish for the rest of your life? I know going to the World Cup is a big thing, but is there any one thing that stands out?
I think it's just the happiness we brought to the country. I think that would always stand out for me. The happiness we brought. I was absolutely stunned when we came back. And I saw how many people, how happy people were. I was stunned. I was like, whoa, I didn't realize, you know, people were so happy. That's the second time
we really saw unity in this country.
Yeah,
89
it was.
And 2006.
You know, I'm talking about it now, and I'm, you know, getting goosebumps from it. I was absolutely stunned, and you know, you look at all the roads, you know, people everywhere, and I was like, whoa, okay. all right, this is not something that you really expected. And it's only then I think we realized what was achieved. And, you know, all the players were, you know, quite proud of their achievement. And we were humbled by the reception as well. It's just one of those things that would stay with you for the rest of your life.
When you all came back from the World Cup in 2006, it was the Gold Cup next in 2007, right? Strange thing happened. Players were banned. And I personally felt that with the hype and the performance in the World Cup, I strongly believe that we could have won the Gold Cup with that team. Fortunately, or whatever person's agenda that the players were banned. From 2006 to this time, you have not, along yourself and others, have not been able to represent your country, put on a national shirt, in spite of all the sacrifices that you all have made. And I mean, sometimes we look at performance and we look at everything, the ending, but we don't look at the start and the middle, the sacrifices you all had made to reach the World Cup. I mean, something like that, and I always use this word to Brent Sancho anytime I'm talking with him. This, what happened to you all, could have made you all very bitter. But I tell Brent, it made him better because he came back and he's given back to the sport. But in your case, this is the first time you have returned to Trinidad?
No, I've returned before, you know, but that bitterness you talk about, you know, it's very difficult not to be bitter. I felt that my international career was taken from me. You know, I'm 37 years old now. I was 30 at the time, and you know, I was in the peak of my career, fit, strong, in decent enough form, and I felt I still had, you know, a good few years ahead of me. You know, I only have something like, what, 35 caps. You know, I've missed out on probably another 40, 50 caps. And it's all because we were asking very respectfully, you know, at the beginning, for what was owed to us.
What was promised to you?
You know, what was promised, which was a contract. And we were banned because of it. And, you know, even now, it's, you know, I'll be totally honest. You know, my wife would say, and, you know, people close to me, it's something that has affected me tremendously. You know, it's very, very hard for me to accept that, you know, it's really one individual who, you know, who just decided he's going to end, you know, my international career. You know, and I always say, how dare he? You know, who is he to do that? And, you know, but, you know, you try to move on, and you just try to, you know, accept things. You know, obviously we had a bigger problem we needed sorting in front of us, which is sorted now, you know, thankfully. But it, you know, regardless of what anyone says, it's difficult to not have some bitterness in you because of what happened.
No, I asked that question because I've heard reports and I've seen interviews where everybody seemed to be more interested in finding out how much is the settlement, how much you all got. But nobody is trying to find out what you all went through in that 7 years. Yes, and I think that even if you all get $10 million right now, that $10 million cannot compensate for that 7 years, because, as you said, something that you love, your career, was cut by an individual, right? No fault of your own, because I mean, you all were not asking for something that was not promised to you all. It's not like you all come back and say, okay, we went to the World Cup and we demand, you understand? It was what you all were asking for, were promised, you understand? And everybody seems to be more interested in how much is the settlement, where the settlement come from, you know, questions like this, but nobody is taking into consideration that 7 years, what have that have done to you all.
That's 7 years. Listen, like you know, other players as well missed out on a huge amount of money, what you need to understand how things work in England. You being an international gives you a certain level of prestige. And when you lose that status, clubs look at you and they're like, okay, you're no longer an international. All right, you know, you don't really play for Trinidad, and you don't play for Trinidad anymore. So straight away your salary goes down. And what made it worse for me personally is that, you know, I think it was 2008 I broke my leg. And coming back from that, it's you know, my agent could not use the line that, you know, he's an international, because I didn't play for Trinidad for so long. So, you know, straight away my bargaining power was so much reduced that, you know, you had to settle for, you know, much lower wages. So, and not only that, the whole mental side with your family. Remember, your family would be suffering through this whole situation as well. It's tough on them. It was tough on, you know, the wives, the girlfriends, or what have you. So, you know, I think people, and you're right, you know, people need to understand that it was a very difficult moment in all the players' lives, personally, you know, and very costly as well. Very costly. So it's just one of those things that, you know, it's a really bad part of our footballing history. And you know, I just hope nothing like this it just cannot happen again. It shouldn't happen again.
When I look at the 13 players over the 7 years, I mean, it showed great restraint and discipline, because there's time in one's life when 7 years is a long time to fight a battle. I am sure that there must have been occasions when you all felt like, okay, I mean, it doesn't make sense, you know, do we give up? You know, and one of the players that I really have great admiration for is Shaka and Brent, because even this reporter, is an alive one, because these are people who, like, it kept that struggle, it kept it in the limelight, right? But we come to another point here now, right, where you're not playing for Trinidad. Well, most likely you have retired from football.
Yeah.
Well, like you're too sure, because I've seen that smile.
I'll tell you
and then
something.
again, at 37, I mean, as a goalkeeper, I think you still.
I'll tell you something. 37 obviously is not young.
But it depends on how you keep how fit you are.
I'm not old. I think I'm definitely fit enough. If I really want to start playing, because I played recently as 18 months ago. So.
But when you say play, are you going to be playing outside, or you come back home, or what?
I have given consideration to play, to play here. To be, to be quite honest, it's obviously something I'll have to discuss with the family and so forth. But I have that itch. I have that itch to play. Because I know I could still do, a good job. I know I could still do a very good job.
And then I remember, 7 years you have not played, so your body.
Well, 7 years I've not played for Trinidad, but I was playing club football and such. Between that, so so it's not like it'll be someone who's not played for that long. I played club football between that, so I guess it's a decision that needs to be made.
Careful consideration.
It's something I really have to think about. But in the meantime, I've started my coaching badges and stuff like that. That is something that's a passion of mine. After that, after playing is into the management side.
And we see Dennis Lawrence.
Dennis, he's done some of his badges as well, and he's associated with Wigan. So that's something that appeals to me definitely to stay in football.
I know I saw you recently at a Pro League game. I think that might be the only game you saw so far. Coming back home, seeing that game, and I'm sure that you must have been keeping in contact with what's happening in the football world. From 2006 to now, do you think football has grown, or it has been declining steadily?
Well, I do, through the website soccerwarriors.net, they post whether it's highlights of the game. Sometimes it's more of the games. I see games with the national team. So I am aware you know, how these boys play, and you know, I do know some of the players. I think football, it has gone back. It has gone back quite a bit, to be honest. Sorry to say that, but you know, but there are many reasons for that. Obviously, you know, one probably was our court case. You know, another one maybe some of these boys are, you know, probably not focused enough. They don't, you know, they probably don't train hard enough. Maybe it's coaching. You know, there are many issues that could, you know, be the reason for the decline of football. But you do see some talented ones. Okay. So there's some talented boys there who, you know, if they're nurtured the right way, they could go on. You know, and I think they could. Probably not the Premier League. Probably not the Premier League. No, not the Premier League. But you know, maybe one or two may be able to sneak into a championship club, League One club. There's some talent there. There's some talent.
Okay. Well, we need to take a break. Remember, we're talking with Kelvin Jack, former Trinidad and Tobago. I shouldn't say former, you know, because we never know what the days ahead holds for him. But we're talking to Kelvin Jack, and we're taking a break. We'll be right back after this message.
Hi, my name is Professor Don Jacob. I'd like to take this opportunity to invite you and all our friends out there to the 2015 Karate World Championship in Trinidad and Tobago. Please check out www.karateworldchampionship.com.
Fens, the single largest specialty retailer of residential and office furniture, consumer electronics, home appliances, and household items in Trinidad and Tobago. At Fens, we offer a large selection of high-quality products, competitive pricing, honest and reliable service. For over 50 years, we have been providing the ultimate shopping experience and after-sale care. We are passionate about serving you, and we're proud of the standard of excellence upheld by our knowledgeable staff, friendly delivery teams, and dedicated customer care associates. Visit Fens first at Marabella and now open at Shakwanis, your friendly furniture, appliance, and electronic dealer since 1960.
Welcome back, viewers. Welcome back to Acts 25. Kelvin, something I wanted to ask you before the break. Now, we have not seen a lot of our local players getting contracts to England, right? I think for the longest while, no names have popped up. Yeah. And I was speaking to somebody some time back, and the person said, well, it's because of what transpired with a certain individual and not voting for the World Cup and all that. Do you think that has anything to do with it, or is it, as what you were saying before the break, that the present crop of players are not totally dedicated or have stepped up to that level where they can, you know, catch the eye of a scout in England?
Well, you know, maybe some of the players may criticize me for saying it, but you know, you could always tell players who work hard. And when I say work hard, I'm not only talking about being on the pitch and running around and, you know, doing stuff like that. You know, you could tell players who, you know, have a footballing brain, who make themselves students of the game, and you just know who, you know, who does it and who doesn't do it. You know, just by the decisions they make on the pitch. So, with regards to them, you know, players going over to England, I think it has to do with Trinidad being inactive as well. Players wouldn't qualify for a work permit to get to England. But now with the new regime in place now, the team is going to be playing games. It's up to the players now to show that they're good enough to, you know, to get to the English leagues. It's difficult, I'll tell you what, because football is improving so much. It's you know, it's just so difficult. But You know, it's just one of those things where they have to keep working. They have to, you know, believe in themselves, and they also need the support of their club and, you know, the TTFF.
What is the relationship with the 13 players and the present TTFF? And we know we have a new general secretary there, the son of Lincoln Phillips. So how is that relationship? Because from listening to you seem to be pretty relieved and pretty, you know, confident that the football is going to improve, is it?
Well, I was one of Mr. Timke's biggest critics, right? Because, you know, I just felt, you know, you have come into office. Listen, the first thing you have to sort this situation out, because it's killing football. And to be fair to the man, he's come in and he's done that. You know, you have to give credit when credit is due, right? The same with Sheldon Phillips. You know, they've come in, they've recognized that this issue should not have happened, and they've helped sort out the issue. The 13 players, I guess most of them they welcome the change. You know, they welcome also the opportunity, the invitation by the president to, you know, to contribute to Trinidad football. So, you know, I guess from here on in, I guess we could go forward in a positive way until, you know, or probably in the unlikely event that, you know, Mr. Timke and they don't, you know, don't stand by their words. But it just seems, you know, let's be honest, it seems as though the man has come in and, you know, he's coming to do a job and he seems focused.
Okay. One of the biggest persons who really in the earlies were talking a lot about the support for the 13 players and the Soca Warriors team, and he were particularly, you know, to me, supporting you all. Is now the present Minister of Sports.
Okay, yeah.
Right? No, but for some strange reason now, each time a team has to leave to go to a tournament or for some training or anything, is you always hear the federation the last minute still not getting money from the Ministry of Sports. Right? If you are given money like per tournament or per game, how does an organization put a structure in place, you know, to know, well, okay, for football, we have X amount of dollars, we're going to do this, we're going to do that, and we're going to do these things. Well, what's your take on that?
Well, yeah, Arnold Roberts was a massive supporter. He was such a big supporter. He would, you know, I can remember being back here and he would call me so many times. He wants an interview, he liked to have me in the studio, and all of a sudden his tune changed, you know, when, you know, this issue came up. Especially when he came into government, everything changed. I guess you guys need to question him and, you know, really drill him as to the reason why that has happened. You know, in my opinion, in my personal opinion, I just think he needs to do his job first and foremost. You know, he's all talk and always talking. You know, do your job. That's all you have to do, your job. And your job is to try to help every sport in this country grow. And it doesn't help when the national team goes away and they have to be literally begging you for money. That doesn't help. And it almost seems as though he's holding them to ransom. He needs to do his job. And somebody needs to tell him that. He needs to do his job, you know, whether he's one of his colleagues in Parliament or someone. He needs to say, listen, be quiet and do your job, man. You know, there are different sports that need your help, and they need it urgently. It's young people. It's young people where, you know, drugs is a distraction, you know, a life of crime. They're looking at all the drug pushers driving nice cars and having loads of money, and they're looking at sport as something, hey, you know, we're more or less suffering here. You know, why would a young person want to be involved in sports when it does not seem to be a career? And it's his job as the sports minister to show young people that, hey, listen, this could be a career. You could be the best boxer, you could be the best sprinter, I don't know, swimmer, footballer, cricketer. You know, it's up to him to sell that to young people, that, hey, this could be a good career for you.
coming back now to the Pro League. Now, you were at the game, the last Pro League game there, right? That was the Digital Pro Bowl. That's a tournament, right? When I went into the stadium, I was talking to my cameraman and I checked 30 supporters. But during the course of the game, it grew. But I am sure there was not more than 200 or 300 people at the Pro League games. This is something that we have been seeing constantly, that the support for football is not there. I am one who has said time and time again that I feel that the Pro League should go into the community. There are so many community grounds with lights, right? Fix these grounds, let the teams go in and adopt a community, maybe adopt a school, you know, merge with the school and the community. And when you have like your Pro Bowl semi-finals and finals, then you go to the stadium. I believe that way you build a relationship between team and community. So the community now will support the team when they go to the stadium, right? They can even reach as far as, it's not going to cost you much. The Pro League is about 8 teams in the Pro League. You rent a bus for the finals and you send it to each of the community. Because if something is not done, I am not seeing, and this goes back to the College League too, you are not seeing the support base growing.
If the Pro League isn't careful, the Pro League could fall, in my opinion, at any time. Because it's hard for the Pro League to continue to exist if there's nothing coming through the gates. So how does the Pro League even exist? There are no fans, nobody comes to the games. What is the motivation for the players? And how do you fix that? Obviously, it's going to take money to fix it. It is going to take money to fix it. And the way I see it, honestly, I think they need a minimum $100 million. They need a minimum $100 million to restructure everything. Now, for this country, that's not a lot of money. And it must be a national project. This whole restructuring thing must be a national project. And you must have the right people doing this project. A strong Pro League improves your national team because players will be much more professional. They'll be playing at a good level, and the discipline will be improved. The whole package will be better. Now, will they get $100 million? I have absolutely no idea. But that should be the target. It needs proper advertising. You know, there are games today. I'm going to attend a Pro League game today. And you're not seeing anything. You're not seeing any billboard up. You know, I'm driving around. I'm not seeing any kind of advertisement. I'm not seeing anything on a bus.
This is a semi-finals.
Exactly.
Before the finals,
You know, you need to more or less saturate the media, saturate the entire population that, hey, there's a game on today. It should be everywhere. You know, this is a country that has gone to a World Cup, and football is the #1 sport. So, if football is the #1 sport, a sport that brought this country together, surely the people that be, whether, you know, in government, the sports ministry, must realize and be like, you know what? Just by doing that, they would reduce crime. They're looking for a crime plan. They're all looking for a crime plan. You have, you know, a lot of intelligent people around, you know, coming together in these high-powered meetings, and they're talking this and they're talking that. They don't realize that, you know, the youths of today, they're bored.
Exactly.
So true. It's simple. They're just bored.
So, you know, the old people are saying, the devil get things for idle hands to do. Something exactly. Like that.
They're bored. So, if these young people are bored, they're unemployed, they need money, right? The easiest thing for them to do is probably sell marijuana or sell cocaine or something. And they're to the point now, well, there's nothing else to do because there are no jobs. they could create so many jobs, whether it's through football, whether it's through basketball or swimming or what have you. They could create so many jobs. They don't, honestly, you don't need all those high-powered meetings they have you know, to discuss a crime plan.
Sometimes it's amazing, you know, they have this intelligent brain, but the average man in the street to come up with an agenda or a plan that can eliminate so many ills of society.
But the thing is, it's politics, and you know, maybe they're trying the best they possibly can, and you know, but they definitely need help. I'm telling you right now, they need help, because you know the way it's going. You know, young people, they have no respect for authority anymore. Sport is in a disciplined environment. If you're involved in sport, these young people have no choice but to be disciplined. If they want to own, if they want to buy a Mercedes Benz, they want to buy, I don't know, a nice house or something, they could say, oh, okay, I could earn this and this from sport. I could, you know, serve my country. Yeah, I want to be a basketballer. I want to be a footballer. But when they see the drug pusher just selling some cocaine or something and getting 100 grand.
Yeah, has a fleet of vehicles.
Yeah, I have a fleet of vehicles. It's like, okay, I'll sell cocaine too. I may, you know, there's a chance I may go to prison. Okay, but I'll take that risk. Maybe I'll get away. There's a risk they'll take. So, sport can do so much for this country, but I guess, you know, as I said, somebody needs to talk to the sports minister. You know, needs to have, you know, if I see him wherever, I will talk to him. I would approach him and, you know, say, listen, you know, you need to start doing your job. Let's sit down and see how, you know, how this could be better.
What's next on the agenda for Kelvin Jack? You go back to England?
Yeah, going back to England. I'm hoping that I'm on my UEFA B course in July. I'm on the standby list. So if I get onto that, I'll be really, really happy. And you know, once I complete that, I'm more or less eligible to manage in League One and, you know, the championship level. As long as you're on your way to doing your UEFA A license, it's a long process. Getting all the qualifications, but you learn a lot on these courses. You learn a lot on these courses.
Would you consider coming back to Trinidad and Tobago and maybe, I don't want to jump the gun and say coach the national team, because we all saw what happened to Russell Agapi, right, when he was given anything. But do you see yourself coming back and giving back?
Yeah, but you know, I will be national team manager one of these days.
Oh, that's your.
Yeah, I will be national team manager one of these days.
Okay.
You know, I just think that, you know, maybe 2018 might be a bit too early, although you never know. But you know, 2022 for sure. You know, I want to be national team manager. You know, I'll say it openly. Because I honestly think I'll qualify a team. Yeah.
Now, that's an interesting point there.
Yeah.
You sound very sure and confident.
Yeah.
But what makes you so sure and confident that you can, you know, take a team and qualify?
Because one, I know I'm good at what I do.
Okay.
Somebody may say I'm arrogant. I know I'm very good at what I do.
Okay.
Football is me. Football is my life. I study the game. Probably to the point I'm obsessed with the game. And also, I know that if I'm entrusted to do things, it will be organized.
Yeah.
And organization in football, in modern football, is so crucial to success. I'm not saying 100% we'll qualify, but I think we'll have a good chance.
Okay.
Very, very good chance.
What's your take on the coaches in Trinidad and Tobago? Do you think that these present bunch of coaches are actually... No, football is a game that, to me, every day there is a change, right? And the methods of coaching changes, because if you look at what is happening now, a couple of years back, Brazil was football, right? Now the playing field seems to be
it's leveled off. It's level.
Yeah.
It's leveled
right?
off, yeah.
Now,
it has leveled off.
Our team, most of the time, our coaches, we only play against the Caribbean teams. We now see that we start to play some big name teams. But besides that, the coaches, do you think that the coaches are actually stepping out 150%, giving more of their knowledge in order to stay up with the changes in the game?
Well, I guess they do, because they you know, I see there are a lot of coaching courses being run all the time here, and that I've had different experiences with coaches in Trinidad, you know, growing up as a player here and so forth. I've always had a problem with the coaching here. I think most of them are not good enough, and that's me just being I'm being totally honest. There's some talented ones though. But they need to improve, because you're right, football moves, you know, it just goes on, it moves on, it improves all the time, and you need to be, you know, keep yourself up to date with everything. I think one of the biggest things is probably discipline for players in Trinidad here, because, you know, we live in a society where discipline, there's none, it's scarce. So, you know, growing up, that's something I think the coaches here could definitely improve on. Obviously, it have the tactical and the technical aspect of the game and so forth, but they probably need to take it upon themselves to improve individually, because it would be brilliant to see a local coach, you know, coach the national team and take them to, you know, to our World Cup finals.
You realize presently we have 2 head coaches.
Yes, yes.
Do you think that's good for football?
Well, I'm not sure their relationship. I'm not sure how, you know, how they get along. I know Jamal Shabazz. He's got some talent. You know, he's got some talent. You know, Hudson Charles. I don't know him as well as a coach. You know, I know him. He was a brilliant player. You know, somebody who you looked at in 1989.
But not every good player could be a good coach.
Yeah, not every good player could be a good coach, but I don't know him as a coach, right?
Okay.
I've seen the team play. I've seen, you know, I've watched whole games of the team play. And something you could see with a team, you could see how good they are tactically, the errors they make. And yes, some of it will be down to coaching. Some of it will be down to coaching without a doubt. So maybe it's, you know, they're not getting the right coaching. Maybe it's just the players not taking it on board. They have to look at the whole, you know, the whole sphere here. You know, maybe they're doing everything they can and they're doing things the right way, and somehow the players are not carrying out what, you know, what they want them to do. That could be the case.
It goes back to what you were saying earlier about the discipline.
Yeah, you know, the discipline and so forth. So, you know, I wish them the best. I honestly wish them the best. I hope they, you know, I hope they do well at the Gold Cup. And you know, looking ahead of that, I guess if they do well at the Gold Cup, you have no choice but to more or less give them a chance to lead the team into the next phase. Okay.
Before we end, anything you'd like to share with Trinidad and Tobago before you leave?
Oh, no, it's just a matter of, you know, supporting sport in general, and not only football, because, you know, young people now, they need that. They need to feel loved. They need to know that people, you know, actually care about their well-being. And I think it's different from years ago when, you know, the only way was with a big stick and, you know, you do this, you do that. I think they need to feel loved, and they need to know that, hey, there's an opportunity here. Come on, let's get, you know, let's be disciplined and, you know, get into sport. It's healthy as well.
Okay. It was a pleasure. Let me wish you all the best, great success in your coaching, and we hope that maybe, if not another 7 years, but maybe 2 or 3 years, you could get back into the sport of football and still get something out of the 7 years that you lost.
All right, thanks a lot.
Okay, and we wish you and your family all the best.
My pleasure.
Okay. Well, yeah, you heard it from Kelvin Jack, the Trinidad and Tobago former goalkeeper, the man who represented us at the 2006 World Cup, spending the last couple of minutes here with us, giving us some little details about his experience and what you would like to see in Trinidad and Tobago football. Remember, you are watching Scoreboard on Axe 25. Catch you next week, Monday, 8 p.m., same channel.